Coach Clark Lea. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you guys.
You've had a journey on your way to where you are now. Do you have a story maybe of like welcome to the coaching world for you when you look back on this journey now that you're at Vandy?
Well, there's a lot, and I'm on year 21 now, so I guess that means I'm getting old. I'll tell you, when you're responsible for 18 to 22-year-olds, there's any myriad of things you can draw from where you're dealing with situations you never maybe thought you'd be in. When I took my first full-time job, it was at South Dakota State, and I was coming from UCLA. When I got there, at the time, South Dakota State was transitioning from Division II to FCS level, and I had a cubicle that was right in the middle of kind of a room of cubicles. And when I got to my desk, there was a trash bag on my desk, and I didn't know what it was. I opened it up. It had all these old South Dakota State, gear in it. And I asked, what is this? Of course, I was coming from UCLA, which is like, the kingdom of fake services. We got everything we need there. It was all the hand-me-downs from the coaches who I was taking his job. That was going to be the gear I was going to be using for my time there. So that was a welcome to coaching moment. We met in trailers that were on the field, like double wide trailers that are on the field. It was a beautiful thing. They have since updated that program to now where it's as nice as any. But those were the humble beginnings of my career.
See, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I'd say you've elevated since then, but it's the humble beginnings. I've told the story in Baltimore. Eric DaCosta, the GM, known his family for years. EDC was saying that, Ozzie Newsome, when Eric was, the intern, the beginning of his time as what he thought was going to be a front office executive, was working security, cleaning out the hotel rooms or the dorms of players they just released, and they trashed it. He said, Ozzie said, you're going to learn everything from soup to nuts. And then what's Eric now? He's the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens. But at what point he was just doing all the damn dirty work.
That's right.
Before we talk quickly about Jesse Minter, I got to tell you, one of my close friends went to Vandy, and I told him I was having you on. And I said, hey, I already know the answer, but can you just give me a thought on Coach Clark Lea? He goes, I freaking love that man. He goes, I'm through and through. We are back. Could you maybe just, for you, the culture that you tried to create at Vandy before we talk a little bit about Jesse Minter?
Yeah, this has been a slugfest here. I mean, we're a program that's never really learned how to care about itself, and that's there is no history here. I mean, it's been pretty sad for the last few decades, and there's been spurts of success, but nothing sustained. So getting in here, it was first teaching the team how to care about what they're a part of, hiring a staff that can help lead people into that, and man, there are just challenges all over the place. Losing is like a plaque that forms, and you have to spend time breaking that plaque away to get people to see kind of the experience from a lens of something positive. But as we've turned the team over, as I've kind of corrected mistakes I made early on, whether it's staffing or just my approach, I've had to learn and grow on this job. I mean, nothing prepares you to be a head coach. You have to adjust and adapt as you move. We're really proud of where we've come, and this is a place. It has less to do with Vanderbilt to me. I know this is my alma mater. Nashville's my hometown, but this has really become about the people that are in this program, the people that stand shoulder to shoulder with me as we attempt to do something that no one really thought was possible. And we're part of the way there, but this will be a really important year for us to solidify identity and to try to, as we've lost a lot of production, to try to not take any kind of step back. But it's been a great challenge. And I mean, it is absolutely, brought me to my knees at times and challenged me to my core. I've had to learn and grow and evolve through it. And for that, I'm really grateful. And by the way, Jesse Minter was one of the bright spots of my first staff and has become such a dear friend to me. But that first team was not very good, and we were in it together. And I was a former D coordinator who was, judging his worst days off my best days. And through that, again, we've formed a really great friendship, and I'm so excited for him and excited for Baltimore for all that's happening.
Yeah, I thought that you would be a perfect person to talk to, and that's a good way to get into this. And just a few questions, if you have the time, is you mentioned your first year was 2021, correct, at Vandy?
That's correct. Yeah.
So that was then the first year, and it turned out to be the only year with Jesse Minter. And you're right. I'll say this past year, that was a hell of a year for Vandy. We go back, it's been a process, right?
Yeah.
But talk to me about, you just said that Jesse's a dear friend, and in the moments of all this, but to you, what makes Jesse so special, as from those days you had together in 21, and what people don't know about him that makes him such an ideal head coaching candidate now?
Well, Jesse is a real person. He's a good person. He's a balanced person. This guy takes care of his family. He's like I said, he's a good friend. He's never too busy. We formed that friendship here. He left to go to Michigan, and sometimes, especially early on for me, I was so insecure, trying to build something that would sustain. And most everyone who left in those early years, I was ready to fight them out the door just because I was upset. But with Jesse, I was so excited for him. He was so classy in the way he handled all that, the way he communicated it. And I was excited for him to move on and to have his opportunity at Michigan. And then obviously, since he's been in the NFL, I've been out to visit him in LA probably 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years. So he is a really skilled communicator. This guy is, first of all, he's not going to make it about him. This isn't a guy with a big ego where he understands it's a player's game. He's a skilled teacher. He's smart. He can figure things out, but he is, as a communicator, as good as I've been around. He knows how to contextualize the experience. So whether you're in, phase 1, phase 2, or OTAs, in training camp, or in the middle of the season, he's going to be able to get in front of the team and tell them exactly where they are, exactly what they're experiencing, and what is the next step they need to take to reach towards their goals. And not everyone can do that. And I've watched them do it here. I've watched them do it in LA. I heard you talking about, Derwin James' comments on Jesse. He absolutely instills confidence in the people he's responsible for because of the way he communicates, and because he develops systems and process for people to take ownership over their development. And so in so many ways, he's a skilled collaborator. I've learned a lot from him about how to empower staff to bring their creative energy. He'll do that with the team. He'll do that across the organization. And look, just like with me, he's going to make mistakes too, but this guy's really smart. He's going to be able to adjust and adapt quickly. And I think this is the start of a great marriage between he and Baltimore. He understands the history there, and he's going to be smart and skillful in the way he folds his DNA into that and creates his imprint there. And in the same way that Mike's done in Seattle, like, this guy is a sharp, smart communicator. He's a football guy. And I hope nothing but the best for him and for Baltimore.
See, that's what the insight that people wanted to hear for so many different reasons. Now, I might have to wait for the next time, because I know I got to let you out of here in just a second. I want to hear it sounds like you guys got a little fiery at times, because we've also seen some moments of Jesse Minter showing some passion. So I might have to ask you about that in the future. Zach, did you have one quick thought here before we let Coach go?
Yeah, Coach, just real fast, talking about this past year and where you guys started in 2021 to now. Was there ever maybe a moment that you were able to take a step back and kind of realize what you've built? Or was there anything that sticks out where you're like, wow, like, this is what I was hoping for, dreamed of when I took the job in 2021?
I really appreciate that question. And, it's hard because the conveyor belt never stops moving. And especially in college, we don't have the luxury of an off season. So we go from the season into what has become free agency, and now we're already starting, preparation and developing our new team. But one of the things that I appreciate is, because the conveyor belt never stops moving, you live again in the context of the success you create. And so, what is it today? January 23rd or something like that.
Yeah.
I've been at January 23rd as a 2-10 coach, and now I get to be at January 23rd as a 10-win coach. And man, this feels a lot better. I'm really proud of the way we've kept our soul intact here. I think we have a team. We say relatedness is our edge. This is a team that cares about what they're a part of. To go back to what I said about the beginnings of this journey, where it was like no one really felt there was any value here. And I'm talking about the people that were internal to the program. To see that change, and now to see that ripple out into our community too, where there's an excitement around the product we're putting on the field. All those things are like so meaningful to me, but maybe the most meaningful is that my kids can talk a little trash at school now, which, I mean, look, who you can't beat that. And so they can be proud of what they're a part of, and they can be proud of the work their dad's doing. And that makes me happy. And look, I'm just like you guys, man. It's all about what's next. It's all about how we elevate and take it further. But to do it in the context of having won 10 games and come a long way is super meaningful. And by the way, one thing real quick is Jesse Minter's intensity, and passion. I mean, to go through what we went through in that first year, and also you mentioned our competitive kind of relationship, and the times where we had to communicate and have hard conversations. This guy's as good as any as I've ever been around of stepping into those conversations, not backing away from them, and also just keeping perspective through it. I watched him go at Michigan from a year where they underperformed in the playoffs, I believe against TCU, and how that shifted his process. And that was a moment for him where he had to step back and say, where do I need to improve? That gave way to probably one of the best defenses to ever do it in college football in the 23 Michigan team. That's who this guy is. I mean, he's intense. He cares a lot about it. He's prideful. He's smart. He's always adjusting and adapting. That's why I think this is going to go so well, and it won't be without hiccups, but he's got a great future ahead of him as the head coach.
Well, you guys, both of you are battle tested. You're willing to work through the tough times and to get to the better ones. And above all, that's why I love to start this conversation with, hey, what was your welcome to moments? You understand when just things can suck. You understand when you're at the bottom, but you persevere. You keep pushing forward. And also, Jesse's reputation is he surrounds himself with great people. You got a hell of a reputation, Coach. I'm excited for you. I'm glad you have a little bit more bragging rights for the family and the kids. And I hope the best. I hope we get a chance to talk to you down the road. It's a 24/7 job for you, but I'm pulling for you. Hope the best for you, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us.
Well, likewise, and I'm here anytime. It's a pleasure to be on with you, and anything I could do in support of Jesse Minter, I'm in for. So, I had Kyle Hamilton. I recruited and coached him at Notre Dame. He's my guy. Tyler Santucci is a close friend of mine too. He's been the linebacker coach there this past season. I got to think the world of the Baltimore community and the Ravens, and I'm excited for what's ahead.
So it sounds like we'll see you in Baltimore whenever you get a day.
That's right.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, be safe, be good, and have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you in the future.
Likewise, guys. Take care.